Worlds
true.
Worlds. Well, they're now tied.
Yeah, we're only talking about LCK finals. I'm only saying LCK finals. Yeah, they're tied with globally, I guess you could say.
Do you agree with them still not giving a chance for Peanut to take the heavily nerfed Nidalee into the jungle? It seems like a big ban of this. The Nidalee Varus has been...
The Varus ban is the weirder one to me, because basically, as long as you ban one of those, ROX probably isn't going to be playing a poke composition.
Yeah.
So why ban both?
I mean, the Nidalee ban to me is saying that Score wants a chance to fight even with whatever jungler is taken by his opponent. And you're right, when you take the Varus out as well, it's like, please, no poke comps, and gonna be another first pick Rek'Sai on blue side. So far this series has gone blue side every game.
Except for Talia was the pick in game number 2 as the #1 pick. So Rek'Sai did go over the Tigers in second game red side.
But it was the blue side still that took it out. So far blue side has been the victor.
Prey may get a chance to grab that Jhin again. And Kuro gonna take the Malzahar early. I mean, I guess after that last performance, why not?
Well, I think you're pretty confident in what you can draft. Like, what blind picking Malzahar here, I think you can be pretty confident in the Tigers.
But I think it's time.
Is it the Zillion that's going to be coming in? Fly.
Might be time.
He's the Zillion player here in Korea.
You just need, if you go the Zillion, you just go Rod of Ages QSS, and then someone's not dying to the Malzahar combo.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's a way to save somebody from getting finished off by Curtain Call as well, too. So it's, yeah, solid pick, but looks like they might go with the Lissandra.
Zillion is pretty susceptible to the range from Jhin, though.
Yeah, that's true.
And not that Victor is going to change much there. Jhin does outrange so many champions, but KT, maybe they're going to look for a reliable mid laner. They still have time to think. Hasn't been much Victor recently in the playoffs whatsoever, even though Fly is 8-1 on the season, and actually Kuro, 5-1 himself.
Wow, and they might take the Sivir for Arrow this time. Okay, so Sivir Echo.
They are taking the flex pick Echo. Not really going to matter here because ROX can save their solo lane until the last pick.
Yep.
So they are going to have to commit that Echo before they know what it is against in the top side.
I wonder how much of a flex pick it is when Malzahar is already on the opponent team. When you're a melee champion, basically, you're going to be taking unbelievable amounts of harass. Fly remembers sort of harass he took when he took Aurelion Sol into Cassiopeia versus Faker, and it's going to be the same story against a Malzahar.
Oh, and Peanut gets the Gragas this time. Be pretty big, and Trundle going for either Smeb or Gorilla. We'll see where it ends up being.
Yeah, one of the most annoying flex picks that the ROX Tigers have.
Yeah.
So they are going to be able to match that one up, and again, we see the Lissandra hover coming through alongside the Vladimir. I really don't think Fly's going to want that matchup again. Maybe he might opt for it. Sivir Bard, maybe looking for a little bit more power in the early laning phase.
You know, Hachani with a rare loss on that Taric last game too, so maybe his confidence in that what has been a very strong champion for him a little bit shaken after game 3.
Now I like the Bard because the ult is a very risk-free way of interrupting Curtain Call. You don't have to commit yourself whatsoever. You just ult him and he's done. So the Bard I think is a nice adaptation. I think Fly is really caught between multiple options here in the mid lane. It's going to go for the Lissandra, who does have faster wave clear than the Malzahar, even though both of them have very safe wave clear. And now it looks like a ROX Tigers comp, because you're going to have Sivir wave clearing in the mid lane. You're going to be looking for teleport Lissandra plays, and they do have pressure now. They have both Sivir and Echo. In fact, Sivir, Echo, and Lissandra is about as much wave clear and push as you could ask for.
Yeah.
So for once, KT, they get rid of the Ezreal, and they get a lot of early game pressure to show for.
And Gorilla on that very safe, very standard, very solid Alistar pickup. ROX Tigers have a pretty strong looking composition too, and this is it. This is the team comp they want to use to try to win their first finals after many appearances.
Yeah, third Trundle game for ROX.
Yep.
This time it'll be the first one in the top lane someday. Probably going to be building that Trinity Force, though, in this matchup, at least in the early stages. So we'll have to see which stats he's going to be stealing, probably from Score.
He's certainly in no rush to build tank stats, Balmy Cinder and a Trinity Force, and then kind of work out from there. Sunfire, I guess, to have a bit of a damage flavor to the tankiness, but it's going to be all about pressuring, trying to push in that Trundle.
Kuro has been forced into the cleanse this game against the Lissandra as well. So KT will have a global advantage on the map, and Kuro's going to have to be very careful about keeping eyes on this Lissandra in the early stages of this game.
But KT get to play the game they're best at. They're going to have Sivir wave clearing in mid, and an Echo and a Lissandra pressuring in side lanes. So If KT lose on this, they would have given their best, they would have selected their best, and not been able to take it down in a comp they have traditionally played very well.
Yep. And Prey, one last game potentially on that Jhin. Here, of course, on the Sivir. And, you know, as good as that last game looked for the ROX Tigers, this really is a series that could go all 5 games.
Well, they've adapted. Now they're going to have a pretty dominant bot lane. So can they get an advantage? Can they start to get the chip damage onto the turrets early?
Should be awesome to find out. This could be it. ROX Tigers looking to close it out, take the win. KT Rolster wants to send it to Game 5. Let's find out who takes it. It's time to get in the game. And welcome to Summoner's Rift for the 4th time tonight. KT Rolster taking on the ROX Tigers. ROX Tigers need just this win to finally right a wrong that they have been having to deal with since their formation. Finally getting a tournament win. It has been a long road.
And they haven't really been close either. I mean, that's the most distressing part, is that this is the closest the ROX Tigers have ever come. And
by quite a bit.
Yeah, by a game, let's say, up 2-1 in a series is better than they've ever had.
Yeah,
they've had to overcome a lot of frustration when it comes to runners-up positions, but consider the org's history. I mean, they've gone through so many different sponsors, GE, Huya, Ku, and now the ROX Tigers, now sponsorless, of course. Everyone knows of their perils practicing for the World Championships last year, not even having air conditioning, having to practice under insane circumstances, and they made a grand final out of it. Yeah. They've done a lot as an org, but they've never won something.
Fang and Wolf in the audience. SKT certainly rooting for the ROX Tigers here.
This would vindicate 2 years of struggling in so many different ways for ROX Tigers.
Well, that's the thing. The ROX Tigers are not a huge organization. They are not a corporate juggernaut like SKT, like KT. They are literally just a group of guys that like playing LoL and they're good at it. That's it.
Yeah, they've been struggling this entire time, and you know the proof is really in the pudding. And people, including myself, you know, we talk a lot about the infrastructure here in Korea and the advantages that these coaches who have been coaching games for years have to help propel the teams here in Korea to be the world's best. But I mean, the ROX Tigers, they were 5 dudes and a coach with no money, and their sponsorships ran out, that made the World Championship Finals last year. They had nothing, and they made it all the way.
And that's why it's the ultimate feel-good story if they take it down. And if KT win, it's, you know, so many different stories wrapped in there as well. We talked so much during the semi-final about them finally getting that big win over SKT just to get this shot, just to get this far. And they still got it all to do in Game 4.
And of course, Score, the longest tenured player in this league who has never won a championship. He's knocked at the door, he's been up 2-0 in a best of 5, but he hasn't lifted the cup.
Played 2 roles at a world-class status as well, as AD Carry was certainly very, very strong 3 years ago when he had his last shot. And now he's here as a jungler and one of the best in the world in that role too.
Yeah. I mean, really, honestly, it's a beautiful story for both of these teams in different ways, and whoever wins this one in the end certainly does deserve it. ROX Tigers on match point, of course, right now, but we can easily see it go to Game 5. Pretty quiet start, though, to Game 4.
Yeah, nothing really happening. KT saved a lot of their trinkets, actually, at the start of this game, which was interesting. Not a lot of early warding. But nothing really coming of it.
Mountain Drake early on, which obviously is a bit on the valuable side.
Well, he saved his trinket long enough that he still has not warded yet. Someday he's going to go now.
Oh, yep, Someday in a lot of trouble here, trying to make it away. Can he escape? No! First blood goes over to Peanut, and that is not the start you're looking for. If you're KT, we talked about Someday's nerves before. It looked like they had calmed down a bit, but I'd say a pretty catastrophic error there.
I mean, there's not really much you can do. He tried to dodge in just to get that trinket ward off. Instead, he was greeted with a Gragas. The flash wasn't going to save him. No chrono break, of course, at level 4.
Do you think it should have been warded a little bit earlier?
I mean, the weird trinket timings did cause that play to happen.
Sure, but about 4 minutes 10 is the gank time for junglers, so that's the most high-risk time. They had no eyes on the enemy junglers, so, you know, is he unfortunate to face check a Gragas? Sure, but it was a risk he didn't have to take, and he paid the ultimate price for it.
Well, ROX Tigers with a good start now. Obviously getting that kill onto Peanut. You don't want a lot of kills on junglers in general, but if you're going to put them on anybody, you should probably put them onto Peanut.
Yeah, well, Peanut did end the season at number 5 in overall kills, which is pretty unusual for a jungler to be ahead of most of the AD carries and top laner, or mid laners rather, in this league.
It's unusual for junglers, yes, but it's not unusual for Peanut.
That's true.
He's in a world apart when it comes to junglers.
But it hasn't been the same season for Peanut. That's kind of the interesting thing, is that it hasn't been the Peanut from spring and summer. He's been warding a lot more. It's not been games like the Buffless games that we'll never forget against Flawless and Sven Sonic Boom. It's been more controlled aggression from Peanut, but the results have been very, very similar. He's been outstanding this year, top 2 jungler next to Score, and I guess if you look at the world, top 3 next to Clearly.
Suppose.
Recall here from Arrow. We'll be heading back to grab that BF sword.
Score lurking in the brush. Not seen. Maybe they can make a plan to smap, but doesn't look like they're going to try it. Score going back to his own jungle to go after the Grump.
I mean, they really want to do something while Smeb still doesn't have his flash up, but considering Smeb did hit 6 first, the options are a bit limiting until Someday can equal up. Now he has, so they're going to come back and try this gank again.
But Score has Tiamat, so he does do decent damage on a gank.
Very true, and Smeb moving up pretty close. Ooh, it's so risky. Remember, Smeb has no flash right now. Someday does, so it really is kind of the best case scenario for KT if they try to go through with this. Smeb going in, this may be the ticket. Here comes Score, trying to make a play. Slowed down by the pillar, gets the knockup from the Unburrow anyway. Smeb takes a bite out of Someday, but can't live through it. There's a kill going over to KT.
Eventually, Smeb got sucked into the trade, and that's the time that Score needed. Great patience from Score on that gank. Not trying to go through the tri-brush, which could have been warded.
Oh, Peanut finding Score, or maybe the other way around. Peanut, the one going in with the body slam, drops the barrel as well.
And mid laner backed away there from KT, so was only going to be a bit of damage from Score, and he had to back away because Kuro could react. Double pink wards down from ROX Tigers, so definitely got a lot of safety in this red buff take for Peanut.
Machani, oh boy, a dangerous warding mission. He's going to take a magical journey, but Machani's going to go right with him. Or Gorilla, rather, is. Ray pops a curtain call. This could be bad. Kuro flashing in for the damage. Arrow trying to get away. He has to burn his Summoner Heal and Flash to keep his support alive, but Fly, oh, he gets ulted by Kuro as he chases. Explosive cast, pushes Lissandra next to him. There's a kill, though, for Arrow, and KT coming in big. There's another one onto Peanut, and Gorilla on the run now. KT getting huge amounts of play early on. Huge lead.
Yeah, it's Prey coming in off of that kill. It looked like they may have been able to finish it off. In fact, it was interesting that Gorilla decided to go first, but it actually did set up Prey. Unfortunately, he bounced. It looked like he bounced Hachani out of the Deadly Flourish, so they couldn't instantly set up that play in the way they had desired.
I mean, Kuro also flashed to get into ult range and missed it. That's the big issue, is he didn't actually complete with the ult. So as you watch the fight, it looks like it's well set up, but Deadly Flourish doesn't register, and Kuro goes for flash ult and doesn't get in range. He was greedy. He went for Malefic Visions first instead of just ulting. That's what allowed the range to go out. Kuro, caught in no man's land, just tries to buy time with the ult, and it's not enough for the ROX Tigers.
Yeah, Gorilla committing to that flat with the flash and the head up Pulverize 2 over the wall. Everybody showing up, and Arrow just faster, able to add some auto attacks in there because basically Prey was delayed by setting up in his ultimate, trying to use those long-range Jhin abilities instead of just getting into the fight.
I'm greedy, Monty. I want a game 5, so.
Well, we're on track. KT having a good start so far. ROX Tigers looking to play comeback now. It's a pretty big deficit. And 9.5 minutes to be almost 2,000 gold down.
I mean, they can definitely come back in this game. Smeb, if he starts getting on a split push, may be able to do some work here in the late game.
I'm a bit skeptical, Monty, and that's because how do they deal with Sivir in the mid lane and then Lissandra and Someday split push? What is Malzahar doing in that scenario? Or what is Jin doing? One of them is going to be caught without a global, and I feel like KT just have more options. They have Rek'Sai as well to be ever present.
I think you could always make picks with the four-man of Gragas, Malzahar, Jin, and Alistar. So if you can get some flanks in, there are still opportunities to force those team fights.
As is, ROX Tigers needs to play it a bit more safely for the next few minutes. That Mountain Drake too, of course. A threat that KT can kind of leverage.
So important that Someday got back into this game after that first gank.
Yeah.
Someday dying a second time in lane would have meant no pressure ever in the top lane, and a lot of KT's options start to go away. But now that both split pushers are in a good spot, both have a kill, both have a CS advantage over their lanes, you know, around that 20-minute mark when we start seeing that split pushing, ROX need to be so careful with their engages.
Peanut spotted about a mile away with these wards.
There's so many of them, and that's, Monty said, they need to look for a flank. And if KT can stick pink wards as they push and be disciplined, which, you know, they managed for parts of the previous game, then they have so many different tools with the globals to turn around and engage.
Yeah, pink ward just immediately replaced too. They heard the Rek'Sai ultimate, and so that did cause Peanut just to body slam over the wall, and they regain control of the river brush.
ROX Tigers feeling a little bit uncomfortable under their turret. Chani and Score starting to loop around. They're seen, of course, by these wards.
They don't
They'll
spot the
stay in
pink
the
ward
river
for now.
Yeah.
Almond take it out. KT definitely have the impetus across lanes. Someday it's confident enough to start pushing into Trundle. Sivir is way clear down bot now that the kill lane pressure from Jin and Alistar hasn't worked so far. And Lissandra's going to push faster than Malzahar. So much like game 3, when ROX Tigers had that big tempo advantage, now it's all about KT and what they can achieve with a similar advantage. And it's worth noting, ROX doesn't have quite the same late game that KT had to come full back on in the previous game.
No, definitely not. Definitely do not have the ultra-powerful scaling composition here.
Yep.
They're going to have to be canny and scrappy to get some picks. They want to survive in this game.
It's something they've always been pretty good at. So I feel like if any team can still come back, it's going to be a team like the ROX Tigers.
Yep. Main issue is they just don't have as many globals, so they're always going to be chasing KT.
Yeah.
Chani looking
Frey
around
needs
Frey.
Needs to watch out for the dive here. Doesn't get hit by the Cosmic Binding, and with Gorilla nearby, he'll be safe for the moment anyway. Gorilla just working on that ward. Here comes Score. And they're just going to take this bottom lane tier 1.
One first brick.
Gorilla going to try to save it, but yeah, that first brick looks like it's going to KT.
That's it.
Throw coming down.
They chose the more aggressive option, the early game focused Bard and Sivir lane, and they were able to just turn that into the chip damage this time around.
Yeah.
First time they moved away from the Ezreal, but they're just like we saw ROX make good adaptations in game 3, we're seeing it from KT in game 4.
ROX Tigers really doesn't want to give that gold up, obviously.
Yeah, both junglers down there trying to prevent that gold. Going over to ROX and Score there just to poke as much as you can with the Prey Seeker. But they haven't been able to get that flank. I mean, they really need to get in behind to get this last little bit of damage down onto the turret. Now they're going to commit Fly over to this as well.
Yeah, KT's decided they want this turret. Looks like it might have a big fight in the bot lane.
I have a minion wave for a while though, Doa, so it's still going to stall out for a while.
Maybe a dragon attempt.
Uh-oh!
Oh, big engage onto Ajani. ROX Tigers going for it. They're going to get the kill, and will they get more? They may lose Gorilla. Looks like they'll trade 1 for 2. It's in favor of KT at the moment. Prey, though, trying to turn it around with this curtain call. Forces KT Rolster back. Misses Score. Hits him the second time around, though. Deadly Flourish does not connect. Smeb flashes in. That was ill-advised. KT turning it around. Oh, never mind. Smeb just eats Echo. Trades, though, with Arrow. and Prey a little bit low. He's flashing, he's going for fly. Oh, Prey miscalculating, gets double kill. Arrow picks up another one, and Kuro in trouble under the turret. Prey Seeker misses him, and Score looks like he's gonna let him go.
That was the play that ROX needed until Smeb flashed in. They did their job, they got the kills, they saved the turret. They didn't have to overcommit like that, but Arrow was still at nearly full HP, and cleaning up that bite means he's gonna get that 650 gold.
Meanwhile, action down in the mid lane.
I mean, 650 gold, 4-0 and 3. He's going to go back and have an Infinity Edge at 15 minutes with Berserker Greaves. And I agree, Monty, they wanted to get a pick here, ROX, to relieve pressure. Remember, the goal here is to deny the turret going down. And when all the teleports are used and it's a 1-for-1, that's a win for ROX Tigers right there.
It absolutely is. So Smeb here, we're gonna watch him. He gets greedy, he did ult Someday, and he sees the Malefic Visions, but Summoner heal's still up, so Someday lives a bit longer than expected. They're easily able to turn around onto him.
But he baits everyone else to walk in. The Sivir is still at full health. If the Sivir is low, you can pull off that play and get a 1-for-1. But when the Sivir is close to full health, there's gonna be collateral damage, and that's ROX Tigers losing the maximum from that trade.
And now they're down 5,000 gold at about 16 minutes, and KT starting to run away with this one pretty quick here in game 4.
I mean, look at this Sivir, it's outrageous. Infinity Edge Seal Berserker Greaves at 16 minutes. And Yomu's in just a serrated jerk for Prey. It's night and day, and Arrow even has the utility advantage on that Sivir as well.
Really going to take a miracle right now for the ROX Tigers to turn this one around. They are going to be seen by the Prey Seeker, and now the Tremor Sense.
Looking for maybe a pick here, but I just don't see it. It's been a back and forth series though, hasn't it?
It's been a seesaw in
Really
the best
has.
possible way. Both teams have made smart adaptations.
A blue buff taken by Score, stealing it away. Gorilla goes in for the headbutt. Pulverize. Sajani kept from taking the magical journey. That's a pick. Score misses 2 shots there. Dodges 2 shots, rather.
But every time they have to use so much. That was Curtain Call, that was the Nether Grasp, all used.
Meanwhile,
and Someday's just gonna go to town on the turret, so.
Gonna probably get it here. Fly over the wall onto Peanut. Peanut in trouble now, blown up by KT Rolster. They're gonna get Gorilla too. And yeah, this one is officially off the rails for the ROX Tigers. Looking like it's gonna be hard for them to win this. KT Rolster looking pretty dominating here in game 4.
it's the first time they've shown us something different. They're actually using the Sivir. They have the utility big Prey.
Wow, yeah, Prey caught completely. No chance to get out. And when it rains, it pours. And ROX Tigers just getting buried right now.
I mean, we're going to have 2-item Arrow, Infinity Edge, and a Zeal item against no armor at all on the side of ROX. Those ricochets are going to incidentally kill multiple people in a fight.
Chani obviously has been having some good times on Bard. They're going to turn around onto the mountain Drake.
They are, so first Drake of the game.
Yep.
Pretty late here at 18 minutes, but it will go over to KT. But the gold lead, ever so much more important. 7,000, 320 minutes here, and KT should be rolling to another victory.
I mean, it's just, yeah, it's just more for KT, right?
Yeah, not much more to say this game. It's already been pretty much determined. ROX taking some ill-advised skirmishes, and Smeb not able to help snowball that early first blood advantage that he got in conjunction with Peanut.
Yeah. This could be our shortest game of the night by quite a bit, if KT is able to keep this going.
And ROX can't really extend to a place that was possible for KT in the previous game.
Yeah.
Their late game doesn't hold a candle to what KT had last game. In this game, the Sivir has basically already outscaled the entire comp of the ROX Tigers.
Oh, man, in 19 minutes, we've got a 5-0-5 Sivir.
Yeah, he doesn't even bother finishing the Zeal item, just gets a QSS, because why not at this stage? He's so far ahead.
He's doing so much damage.
That as long as he
should be the priority.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Plus the MR helpful against the Gragas and Malzahar combo.
Yeah.
And whatever KT wants to do, they will win. If they take a 5v5 team fight, the Sivir will shred them. If they split push, there's not enough globals on the side of ROX, only a single teleport.
Oh, Tempered Fate onto Prey. Oh, Cosmic Binding misses, but like it matters, by Prey.
Well, his choices there.
To make it exciting.
His choices there were to get hit by Cosmic Binding or to run closer to Arrow, so it's a pretty good Cosmic Binding, really.
I don't know.
It misses, but it does. It was a zoning cosmic binding.
There you go.
But KT have the split push, the pick, and the team fight advantage. So ROX Tigers is going to watch KT close out this game.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you're ROX Tigers, you start to think about the next one. You didn't want to go to game 5, but here you are. So, what do you do to avoid this next game?
I think that you just take blue side again in the final game of the series. What's interesting about the red side picks of ROX has been that they felt like they've been forced to take Jhin in the first round of the draft on red side when they just banded out on the blue side, and it just hasn't been working for them. If we think about what Prey can do on Sivir and Ashe, those are the picks you want him on in this series.
I mean, think about what they reached for. Jhin and Malzahar. The Malzahar in the previous game was good, but they take it first rotation because Fly's played it before, but he hasn't played it recently. Didn't play it against SK Telecom.
Yeah.
And the Malzahar has been exploited by the global advantage that KT have.
Wow. ROX Tigers, it just goes to show you what a couple little minor overcommitments can cost you.
Well, they're going full KT, guys. They got QSS on the Bard now.
Of course they do.
That Bard is not getting caught by anybody.
Doesn't have a proto belt though, so.
Not yet, not yet.
There's still optimism.
Proto Bard. Proto Bard sounds like an awesome band name, by the way. That's like my punk Renaissance fair cross band, like Proto Bard. It's gonna be great. Maybe just do 8-bit Renaissance fair music or something.
It's just such a better Lissandra comp than we saw in previous games when it was ROX Tigers and they only had 2 damage sources. They got Sivir, who's about the highest late game AD carry damage next to Kog'Maw. They've got Echo, who went Trinity Force, who went well on the laning phase. Everything's just lined up for KT, and we've had some seesaw games, but it's been a seesaw series, but the games, once they've got fleshed out, have kind of gone the way you expected when the break-even points have been hit.
Well, I do think that with this match in particular, the game does tend to be very snowball-y with the extra amount of gold that's given for first pick in the early game.
6-15 in general in standard lanes, though? We got
does seem that way,
two
doesn't it?
fantastically strong junglers. This is expected that you're going to see a snowball, whether it's the jungle, whether it's the globals. Those have been the real winners here.
All right. The scorer's like, hey, I'm fighting their top laner. The rest of KT is like, it's okay. Don't worry about it, man.
Well, the only person without a global is split pushing now. I guess the Bard doesn't have a global, but...
Hey, but she can hit her all and run real fast.
That's
so.
true.
Yeah.
Sivir versus Jhin, that's a mismatch if I ever saw one in the top lane.
Yeah. Jhin can't run at all. He just sort of like swag walks quicker.
Yeah, it's not really an excuse either because you could think maybe, okay, with only the spell shield, not the QSS, maybe you don't want the Sivir in the mid lane, but I think you move Fly into a side lane right now.
Yeah,
you don't need him in the mid lane against the Malzahar. Arrow will be able to do just fine.
Well, it's 9,000 gold lead in 22 minutes. That is pretty big.
I mean, it's a 9,000 gold lead. They're doing more damage than their opponents, and they have Guardian Angel and triple QSS. So they even have insurance if they over-pursue for a pick.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that KT has done very well this season is itemize cautiously with gold leads. When they played against Malzahar, we've seen 5 QSSs before.
Now, we've seen them do that to a fault. You remember the Varus game against SKT where they tried to make picks with tier QSS Varus.
Yeah, that was not good.
They're definitely safety first, but perhaps too much so. In this particular game, they're so far ahead that safety first is just fine.
At that point, it's like the little kid that's like got like pillows duct taped around himself by his mom when he's going out to play football with the neighborhood boys, you know?
That was too much on Fly.
A little bit too much.
They've learned that they're just going to ban the Varus this series and not let him build tier QSS.
Well, ROX Tigers just kind of trying to delay the inevitable as much as they can, and I suppose with like a miracle pick, a miracle team fight, maybe a miracle Baron steal or something, they've got a chance to bring it back, but it seems so unlikely that almost certainly we'll be seeing a game 5. Battle over the red buff right now is going to go KT's way.
Resetting.
Peanut trying to run away. Yep. Well, it's running towards KT's side of the base, so it is going KT's way, isn't it?
Yeah.
True.
All right, Peanut going back in onto Score. Score getting a little bit low here. Bray backs away, gets Lissandra ulted, manages to back off. Pops that Summer Heal to try to stay up. They need that damage. Gorilla, though, goes down the back lines. There's a curtain call, but what more do you do, really? I mean, Achani a little bit low. Snap trying to get something for his team. He does get one in the end, but that's still a fight that's going to go nearly all KT's way.
I mean, Arrow's full health. He's basically a god at this point in the game. Jin managed to buy enough space to start the ult and had to cancel it. KT's still fighting, even though there is no Sivir.
No, why not? Sivir's up in the top lane.
He's one kill away, one kill involvement away from 100% kill participation.
Yeah.
It's nothing ROX can do.
Fly's like, oh yeah, my turret's still up.
I mean, you say it's still up, it's almost 100% health as well.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Watch that fight again.
I mean, Score just sits there getting stunned and smiting away the red buff to start this one off. They get the Lissandra ultimate down on the Prey. Arrow actually commits really hard. Exhaust has to be used on him to prevent Prey from dying. But
Fly's smart here. He actually glacial paths forward, even though he can't get in range of the Jin, because he knows that he'll have to cancel the ultimate, which is the only thing that he can actually do to do damage in these fights, given how strong KT's front line is. So they back away. Still haven't got the mid lane turret yet, though, KT.
You know, last game we saw ROX Tigers hold KT to 0 turrets, and it looks like we might see the opposite here in Game 4.
Well, that just tells you that anyone can win the final game, and that's
really does.
So exciting. I guess the one advantage ROX has is they have choice of side for Game 5. So far, it's gone blue side every game, and they will be blue side, you'd have to imagine, in Game 5.
This is easily the closest finals we've had since KT Arrows versus Samsung Blue back in summer of 2014. It's been 2 years, guys, since we've seen a finals this close.
We got rid of SK Telecom, and
we did.
What do you know?
I still can't believe that semifinal, man. It's like we got 2 grand finals this season. That semifinal between KT and SKT was one of the best matches I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was great. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And now Fly's gonna push an inhibitor turret before they take out tier 1 in mid.
I mean, who's gonna go there to answer him? They only have a single teleport. Trondo's gonna basically watch as he auto attacks and then just try and chase and get kited. So they don't really have any good options. You don't often see the inhibitor turret and mid lane outer turret trade, but this game has snowballed very quickly.
Yes, it has. And curtain call, all right, they're gonna try to make a pick on the Fly. He gets headbutt pulverized, could be in trouble, gonna ult himself to stay alive. Someday trying to loop around from the back, and KT just gonna try to force their way through the jungle. A kill goes over to ROX Tigers. That's 2. Jin's got him. Gorilla still alive for the moment here. Someday on the run, Hachani taken out. Oh boy, ROX Tigers, they may have found a fight here. Gorilla super low, can they get Someday? He's trying to go, oh, they got Arrow! Another kill comes in for the ROX Tigers. This one might not be over, but now what can they get from this? Can they actually get Baron?
So low.
They are.
But Someday does not have TP to get back into this fight, so they may be able to do a Baron.
They have Malzahar, which gives effective tankiness because he has the Void Link. They're going to have to wait for those to start it up. Teleport on a Void Link. They have a lot of damage, but this is still risky from KT.
They have to take this risk now.
From
no
ROX
kidding. This is desperation. This is ROX Tigers saying we still have a chance to win the finals right here, right now.
Here comes Someday.
That's right, Someday coming in, teleport for Fly, coming from behind. Baron getting very low. Baron does go over to KT, or I'm sorry, to ROX Tigers. Fly, meanwhile, just blows up Prey. And, well, what can you say? ROX Tigers made an attempt at it. They had to go for it. They won that fight, but KT just way too far ahead, way too strong right now. Smeb's tanky, but that's basically all he can do, is just not die for a while.
Does succeed in doing that, but not a lot of damage there. Can't take anybody with him. It's now Peanut against the world.
Yep.
And at least he has a Baron buff minions to stave off some of the pressure that KT's going to put on. Prey will be coming back up in 10 seconds. Kuro in 15.
So Gorilla and Peanut have to try to stop this. We're still so early that the death timers are actually very low. Looks like they might still lose that inhibitor anyway. Arrow finally taking the mid turret. Way back in tier 1. And now KT looping around for the tier 2. They do catch Score. Score gets knocked out by the explosive cask though. Takes some turret hits. He's going to go down. Peanut killed in return. There's the ultimate onto Someday. The turret goes down via Arrow. Fly ults himself to try to stay alive. That's another kill for Prey. What is going on here?
The setups from the ROX Tigers have been so good underneath that turret, getting the time they need to get the curtain call off and get the picks underneath the towers. KT is now overcommitted to a couple of different team fights, so Tigers may be able to start getting turrets right now.
Yeah.
This is going to be their first of the game.
I mean, KT have contrived to find ways to lose fights despite being massively ahead. They had that huge fight next to the enemy blue. They had no vision, so Arrow wasn't getting auto attacks ricocheted onto anyone, was zoned for a full fight. He has most of their gold. So now that's 2 fights and a Baron that have kind of been donated by poor decisions from KT.
Well, ROX Tigers going to get 2 turrets out of this at least, and yeah, I think backing off after that is wise.
Most crucially, they didn't lose this inhibitor, though. They
Yeah.
got back now
Very
to
true.
clear out the minion wave before it can take damage. Now, it's still a long way to go for the ROX Tigers to win this game.
It's just unbelievable that they've even given themselves a chance. It just goes to show how deadly these guys can be. Let's watch that last fight one more time.
So we're going to see this is a really nice interrupt by the Bard ultimate there. So you think, okay, ROX might have it, but they get the first kill in the backline. They're able to fight. This is another overpursuit. The previous fight, I think, was the more interesting one. But this is nice mechanics from ROX.
Yeah, and again, Arrow really can't even get into that fight because of the zones that the ROX Tigers are creating. The Lissandra needs to be able to stay within striking distance of the Sivir, whether it's going to be ulting a target or self-ulting to keep people so that the Ricochet can really do maximum damage, and that just didn't happen in either of the last 2 fights.
I mean, that's the thing, is that the ROX Tigers definitely do have a bit of a range advantage, at least on KT, when it comes to creating zones, I suppose.
I mean, it was the terrain that KT chose to fight in. When they're fighting around the wolves, they basically had Smeb run at Sivir and obviously can't kill the Trundle very fast, and the rest of them kited back so the ricochets weren't hitting. This was also the one time KT this game have fought out of vision. So in general, the auto attacks aren't doing anything. They gain no value out of the massive lead that Sivir has. And that's why ROX just played it smart, and KT basically chose the one place they couldn't fight, and now have given ROX a lifeline they should never have had.
Not much of one, though.
No, a little bit. It's making it exciting, though.
Still a long way to go.
I'm not complaining. 13 seconds till that Drake comes up. It is only an Ocean Drake, but it is a Drake nonetheless.
Yeah, big leads here onto Arrow and Fly.
Yep.
Mostly.
Yeah, 3,200 gold is the lead on the Sivir.
Arrow's still 6-1 and 8, having a really good game. ROX Tigers zoning. Tense moment here. And, you know, even if the ROX Tigers do lose this game, and it looks like they caught Smeb, KT going in. Got to be careful. They don't want to funnel into that jungle again.
Smeb's smart. He didn't pull the trigger on his ultimate right there. He saved it in case they needed it for the team fight. Didn't panic.
I was going to say, I mean, even if ROX Tigers go on to lose this game now, which they still definitely could, it kind of gets in KT's head a little bit, you know, that they were winning so hard, and now they're really having to try to close this one out.
Felt like they were looking past this game a little bit already, and understandably so, but ROX have got the chance. You look at some of the item builds, Someday has a Medjai's worth noting.
Someday going in onto Prey. Prey in a little bit of a dangerous spot right now, walking away as fast as he can go. That was like the slowest pursuit I've ever seen.
Prey got excited right there because he landed the Deadly Flourish. He tried to walk into auto range, and that's a big mistake against Someday, who is quite dangerous and close that gap quickly.
The only champion you're allowed to get excited on is Jinx, and she has not been the meta for a while here in Korea.
Yeah, definitely not. So don't try and follow up onto the Echo with the Medjai's with if you land that Deadly Flourish, if only Peanut is near you. Nearly cost them, but they didn't have to blow any summoners, so not that bad.
Well, as is, KT has about a minute 20 to wait until the next Baron comes up, so trying to set things up for that now. And obviously, if they can grab that objective, that'll probably help them close out the game right there.
I mean, KT have so many pick tools that they can piggyback on the moment ROX come up to try and contest the Baron. They have the Bard ultimate, they have the Glacial Path. They have good ways to force a fight. They just need ROX to come out of their base, and the only objective on the map that will really behoove that is the Baron. So they're kind of waiting for the Baron spawn, pushing up their vision, and looking for some picks.
Don't say piggyback, Papa Smithy. That traumatizes me this season.
Is that your trigger word?
I can't
It's all of our trigger words. I mean, your trigger word, Papa Smithy.
That's right. Please don't. Well, ROX Tigers clinging to life here. 34 minutes into the game. Can need absolutely flawless play if they want to have any chance of winning this. And to be fair, they probably need KT to make a few mistakes too.
Haven't really had the chance to push up any vision. Good pink wards down from KT.
Yep, curtain call used. Go for Achani, that's the tempered fate. Prey though, may be happy to force that one out. Gorilla in a little bit of trouble here. Double teleport coming in now for KT as Gorilla flashes over the wall. ROX Tigers backing away. This could be bad. Achani though slowed up, losing most of his health there.
That was actually a great trade for ROX.
Yeah,
They got two teleports out of that.
That was good.
Nice flank from Smeb, just trundling his way up the mid lane to threaten that. So both TPs out of KT, and KT has been unsuccessful at winning conclusively a vision battle, but let's go.
Okay, here we go. Score coming in for the big engage, gets on to Gorilla and Kuro. Kuro and Gorilla backing away. Score in a lot of trouble, gets ulted. Oh, Kuro blown up by Arrow and Fly, and now KT may have found the fight. Someday going crazy in the back lines. On to Prey, flashes, can't quite pick him off. KT backing off, but that was what they needed. They got the 2 kills. That can get them the Baron and can probably get them the game.
Great turn by KT. They knew that they weren't going to be able to split push without the TP, so forced the engagement. They knew Gorilla did not have the Unbreakable will up, so he was going to be easy to pop. They find Kuro too.
Oh, goodbye, Peanut.
That damage.
I mean, what are you going to do? You had to check that Baron.
But that's the one time KT finally got a fight in the open. They weren't fighting around disadvantageous terrain. They weren't messing with enemy vision. They forced the fight in the open. They get the kill. It's going to be a free Baron as well.
Well, you know, the ROX Tigers held on to this game for a lot longer than I think a lot of people, including KT Rolster, thought they were going to be able to. And again, you know, as we look ahead to what will be Game 5, ROX Tigers certainly looking threatening here. Wow, he's got some moves. Gets sped up.
He's dead.
Oh, goodbye. All right. Well, that should be about it. Gorilla gonna get taken down through the ultimate. Back on Sunday for a moment. Another double kill onto this huge Sivir. Oh, Kuro. Triple kill for Arrow. He is 11, 1, and 9 now on this Sivir. Absolutely dominating. Smep kind of hanging out. They know this one is over. That's 4 kills. Peanut, the only one left on the ROX Tigers. Somebody's going to jump onto him, and as soon as the next minion wave comes in, you would think that KT would be able to end this. Death timers should be theoretically long enough. Someday just ulting right back where he was. Explosive cast. Peanut looking for the kill into Achani. Oh, they had to. That was a close one. Achani had to heal himself. Oh, Peanut goes for it. Yeah, a little bit of revenge. And how about this? For the first time in 2 years, guys, we are going to Game 5. KT takes it. GG.
KT really coming out strong that game, winning the early skirmishes and just propelling Arrow Sivir to just a ridiculous damage status. ROX did what they could to scrap their way back into that one, but it was just too little too late.
Man, what a great game that was, though. I mean, KT played it so cleanly for most of it. ROX Tigers showing that they can come back from nearly any situation, and that sets us up for probably what is going to be one of the most exciting games of League of Legends we've ever seen here in LCK.
And it seems like the snowball meta is here. The team that's gotten ahead has won the game, but KT
I'd say so.
stuck the landing. But man, they messed it up a couple of times. It certainly wasn't the cleanest. Flawless early game into a pretty flawed mid game, and now it's all up in the air.
Yeah.
Probably just give ROX Tigers the advantage because they're going to be on the blue side, but otherwise, hard to say what to make of Game 5.
Hey, well, blue side team has won every game tonight, haven't they?
Well, I just think it's important because that Jhin pick has really dogged the Tigers throughout these drafts, and when they can just ban it on blue side and not first pick it, not give it over to KT, they look a lot more confident in the 2v2 lane. So that's kind of the X factor to me, is it's more about denying the Jhin than getting the blue side. So we'll see what the Tigers have in store. I do think that they've been playing a bit cleaner in the last couple of games in general.
Yep.
So I'd tip it just a little bit over to ROX in game number 5.
Man, you cannot predict too much, though. I mean, this series has been literally back and forth for 4 games now, and it comes down to this: who gets that ticket punch to Worlds? Well, I guess ROX Tigers are already going, so I'm talking about, is it SKT or is it KT Rolster in this particular case? But who wins the tournament? Maybe a little bit more important to these guys, because so many times they've come up short. This time, one of them takes it. Who's it going to be? KT Rolster or the ROX Tigers? Come back. LCK Summer Grand Finals here on OGN will return right after this.